let me ask you now about some areas that are worthy of optimism, I would say, I'm sure that you would say, and those, I'm referring, of course, to the Abraham Accords. And the Abraham Accords seem to be aligned with Prime Minister Netanyahu's vision of peace being established from the outside in. I'm sure you have heard him speak about that numerous times. Can you put these accords into their historical and contemporary context for us, please? You know, the times when the state of Israel thought that those around us in the region would never recognize our presence there, those endured until very, very recently. Now it seems that our march to normalization is knocking down one taboo after the other And it's a historical change. It's an historical change that's afoot, but it also has very contemporary ramifications and consequences for the state of Israel. I'd like you to put it, as I said in my question, into a historical context as you read it, and then tell us what the contemporary opportunities and limitations might be.
I think that the biggest problem of Israel is the Palestinian conflict, the Israel-Palestinian conflict. And for many years, almost all the Arab world, except Egypt and Jordan, but only to a certain extent, and a very limited extent, all the countries, except those two, said we're not going to move on towards any kind of agreements, peace agreements, understanding, whatever, unless you're going to solve the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. And when I was a director, I tried to convince all those countries, or at least most of them, that they're doing a mistake. And I said that I don't see any Palestinian leader, I'm talking about until recently, okay, that were able to sign an agreement with Israel. I remember I had a meeting with one of the, let's say, leaders in the Arab world those days, and I told him, look, if we'll give Abu Mazen or any other Palestinian leader a piece of paper that on the top going to be Israeli-Palestinian peace treaty, at the bottom a signature of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and we'll give it this paper, and I said, write whatever you want. We already signed it. All your wishes, write in, and we are there. I said, you won't be able to write it. You won't be able to even to start to think about it, because it won't survive the next day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the only way to bring the Palestinians to the peace process going to be by those countries that I'm calling it the moderate one. Okay? So if all the moderate countries will put the pressure, will say, yes, you're doing the right thing, I'm not saying that you won't have any opposition inside the Palestinian society, but it's going to be much, much easier to reach a contract or an agreement with Israel. And fortunately, because of many reasons, okay, and they are, it's amazing, but when I spoke to on a panel with the ambassador of the Emirates in the United States, and Trump initiative to peace in the Middle East, and the understanding in Israel that we have the option of annexation the West Bank, or at least part of the West Bank, brought the Emirates to understand that if they will not make a fast move forward, maybe we are going to pass the point of no return to any kind of solution that will be acceptable
with the Palestinians.
With the Palestinians, that we are that decision of annexation or at the end will lead to one state solution, and they said that they don't want it. Okay, they're not fond of it, but they thought at least, and they were not the only one. They thought that if we'll pass all those law of annexation at the West Bank, it's a lost game. And I think that was, and then they came with their offer, okay, let's have a peace treaty if you will stop annexation. And then we'll get the F-35. And everything was mixed in that kitchen. At the end of the day, we had an agreement with the Emirates, with Bahrain. I hope an agreement with Sudan, and now with Morocco, and I hope with others as well. And I think that the Palestinians will have to rethink about the solution that they wish to get, and they will start to understand that they can't get everything, all their wishes, and maybe on the long run we'll be able to reach an